welcome to this edition of NCSMI News. I'm Jose Valle of First Flight High School in Codell Hills.
And I'm Helen Hamilton of Farmville Central in Farmville. Thank you for joining us. Much of the success of NCSMI through the years is due to former J-School Dean Richard Cole. Eric Bean of West Johnston High in Benson tells us Dean Cole's legacy continues to grow.
UNC has one of the top journalism schools in the nation. Former Dean Richard Cole laid the foundation for that success and enjoyed it immensely.
I've worked with thousands, literally, of students over the years. Each is different. Each has his or her own goals and hopes. It's just lots of fun working with students.
I consider him the architect of the modern School of Journalism education.
Before becoming dean, Cole was head of NCSMI. After becoming dean of the School of Journalism, Cole pushed for state funds for the institute and even provided offices inside of Carroll Hall. Cole is in the final stages of retirement, but still has a lot to offer, including wise advice.
Work hard, try your best to get along with the other students.
Many people view Cole as the best dean in the school's history, but he's too humble to talk about his legacy.
I'm not the right person to try to answer that.
So others do it for him.
He's got unlimited love for what education can do in young people's lives. He thinks journalism is one of the highest callings in the nation.
I'm Eric Bean, NCSMI News.
Dean Cole directed NCSMI from 1973 until 1976 when he became dean.
Back then, the Institute concentrated on newspapers. We learn about many other types of journalism now, but as Sarah Morrison of Durham's Northern High tells us, that doesn't mean the newspaper section is taking a back seat.
The beginning and advanced newspaper students put their noses to the grindstone this week and learned how to make an efficient, informative, and interesting newspaper.
I like newspaper because you can express your opinions, and most times, if you express your opinions and they're good, it can change things.
Other students, like Megan Munson, enjoy newspaper because it gives them a chance to bring their school staff closer together.
We have one night called All Hands on Deck Night where we know everyone has to show up and we'll hold each other accountable to that.
A chance to bond here in Chapel Hill is one of the many aspects of a challenging yet rewarding news writing experience.
Beginning newspaper advisor Mark Harrison says that while writing a newspaper can be stressful, it's important to greet each day with a smile.
You have to enjoy things changing consistently and things totally being new each day.
Of course, a lot is changing in the world of journalism, but the basics never will. I'm Sarah Morrison, NCSMI News.
And that's why we still concentrate on the basics, such as accuracy, fairness, and good grammar.
In the old days, newspapermen were lovingly called ink-stained wretches. Giselle Kratenfels of Carborough High tells us current J-School professor Bill Cloud might be happy to continue to use that title.
Copy editing is a crucial part of journalism, and no one knows that better than Carolina Associate Professor Bill Cloud.
The main thing copy editors do are ensure good grammar and accuracy and clarity.
Bill Cloud believes with a great passion that the ability to edit material well is one of the great things between a good and a great news story.
If you enjoy being in the central hub of information, copy editing might be for you.
You're at the heart of the newspaper, and when stories break, you see what everybody else is doing.
Bill has just had an amazing influence because so many of the teachers who were starting out when I was starting out came here, and he made us feel like we were important.
Cloud had that impact as a university professor and as head of NCSMI in the 80s. I'm Giselle Krastenfels, NCSMI News.
Bill Cloud's colleagues have called him an editor's editor. High praise indeed in the print industry.
The Rush has that name for a reason. Murphy Grant of First Flight High gives us a look at all the work it takes to produce the Institute's newspaper.
While many are here to learn new skills, the Rush puts the skills of those who take part in it to the test. Students face tight deadlines and learn how to beat the race against time. as Daily Tar Heel newsroom advisor Erica Perel explains.
Most people are used to putting out a high school newspaper that comes out a couple, maybe 3 times a semester, or a yearbook that comes out once a year, and they're not used to working on these kind of deadlines.
Though the deadlines require a lot of work, many still choose to face the challenge. Others, like Connor Ferry from Owen High School, require the persuasion of others.
I joined the Rush because my teacher asked me if I wanted to, and she said that I would probably make it, and I just thought it would be fun to do it, and it is.
Along with the fun comes knowledge. Rush advisor Robin Sawyer makes sure that students who participate in the publication, like Lauren Stepp from West Henderson High, have something to take back with them.
My regular newspaper is an 8-page issue also. I mean, it really just shows how fast we could produce our newspaper when we only produce 7 per year.
The Rush has wrapped up its 19th edition, so at least that's one deadline out of the way. I'm Murphy Grant, NCSMI News.
Okay, so now all of you who worked on the Rush can take a deep breath. No deadlines until school starts back.
A newspaper without photos isn't very compelling, and Madison Brown of Mars Area High School in Pittsburgh tells us photo students have been capturing moments of time throughout the Institute.
Students in the photojournalism workshop at NCSMI make articles come to life through their photos, captions, and editing. Reginald Harper of Clayton High School knows that a picture is worth 1,000 words.
I'm interested in photojournalism because I like to take pictures, and just for memories, and then how much a picture is worth for an article, it means a lot.
Photojournalism is more than simply snapping pictures. Deirdre Logan of Durham Riverside High School believes it's important to find the story behind each photograph.
What interests me the most is getting a good story and just capturing the moment with a picture.
Although students are sometimes intimidated by Photoshop when they first arrive at NCSMI, Dr. Bradley Wilson sees significant progress throughout the week.
Here's the things that you need to do. And then by the end of the workshop, they're taking their pictures in, they're putting those cards in, and they're working in Photoshop like it's going out of style.
With the experience students have gained at NCSMI, they can really picture a career in photojournalism. In Chapel Hill, I'm Madison Brown, NCSMI News.
It's good to expose students to all that might develop in the years to come.
Things have been very busy for us this week, as J.T. Frisch of Ravenscroft School tells us. That's always the case for one former director of the Institute.
Dean Yap faces many deadlines which requires continual coordination with multiple faculty and staff members. Throughout her career at the Raleigh Times, she has mastered the ability to manage people and projects.
There are people who are working in summer school who don't like to wait to the last minute because there's certain applications and functions that they have to accomplish. And if I wait up to the end, then it doesn't give them time to do their jobs.
Time management is essential, and technology has affected how journalists manage their time and do their jobs.
Well, we all know that technology's had a huge impact on journalism. You can post things on Twitter accounts and Facebook accounts and Google Plus and all the different things going on, that we really have to be a lot more circumspect as writers and reporters and editors to make sure that information is going up correctly.
That's what she teaches her students. Colleagues say it helps that she's been in the trenches.
Dean Yap started as a journalist for the Raleigh Times, and now she's the dean of Chapel Hill Summer School. The way she balances her many deadlines is impressive, and we could all learn a lesson from it. J.T. Frisch, NCSMI News.
That career includes a 3-year stint as director of NCSMI from 79 to 82. Journalism isn't just about words on a page.
It's also about how those words look on the page. Rose Jackson of Huff High and Cornelius takes us into the design world.
One of the most visual aspects of journalism is incorporated in Design 1 and 2 at NCSMI. Students had the opportunity to learn the basics of InDesign, Photoshop, and new software. Throughout the week, students expanded their knowledge of visual communication through both the combination of instruction and individual work. Design 1 instructor Charles Floyd.
It's a fun challenge to take visual elements such as type and color, form and shape and photos, and balance them and put them together in ways that tell a story.
And as beginner design student Dorian Carter from the Community School of Davidson explains, it's a rewarding experience.
It's like a really neat process to come here and learn everything that we don't really have at this point.
While the Design 1 students gain new knowledge of the basics, advanced design students continue their education and focus on details. Although the class challenges the students, Sierra Fender from West Henderson High says the hard work is worth it.
If you have patience, it'll look really, really good if you actually focus on the details.
And as students diligently work to expand their knowledge, they also expose themselves to new career paths.
For students who are looking to get their first jobs and are most likely to find a job in design, it's probably going to be found in multimedia interactivity.
And in a few years, these students will have the chance to learn even more about design at UNC. I'm Rose Jackson, NCSMI News.
And design applies to more than newspaper and magazines these days. There's a booming market in web design.
People working on a yearbook don't have the tight deadline those who work on newspapers do, but they have an equal commitment to quality. Patrick McIntyre of Ravenscroft School in Raleigh was with the yearbook students.
The race against time begins as former math and Spanish teacher and the National Yearbook Advisor of the Year in 2008, Linda Drake, explains beginning to end what goes on in creating a great yearbook.
Theme development, we talk about coverage, what they're going to put in the book. We teach them some basic design, basic writing. We also spend time on graphics, how to make mods or packages.
A lot more goes into making a yearbook than just pictures and captions. This year there are a record amount of students in NCSMI yearbook.
A number of speakers came to the Institute to share their valuable tips and knowledge with those students as they begin their bright future in yearbook.
I feel like I like seeing people's emotions, like after I give them the yearbooks and they're like, oh, it was really good and stuff like that. That makes me happy, so I feel good.
4 days of brainstorming, magazine cutting, and photo taking provides advanced and beginning yearbook students with the skills they need to make their yearbooks something they'll remember for years to come. Will you sign my yearbook? Patrick McIntyre, NCSMI News.
Our advisors might not want to remember some of the things they did in high school.
Just about anyone will tell you Monica Hill runs a tight ship, but she does it with grace and humor. Monica Holmes of First Flight High introduces us to the current NCSMI director.
Monica Hill spends a majority of her time and effort in the office coordinating and organizing events and workshops in the journalism field with help from employees and interns. Kristen Chang is one of those and likes Hill's style.
She needs a phone number.
I think Monica is best at managing everyone and giving everybody jobs, like delegating things to make sure that everything gets done that needs to be done.
As director of the NCSMI, Hill serves as an advisor to the students and administration in attendance. She finds the cooperation and dedication between the recently introduced students the most interesting thing at the workshop.
I think it's always a great deal of fun to see the interaction of students from all across the state. I love seeing the interaction of students from mountains to coast.
Hill also believes that this program is very beneficial for both students who exhibit an interest in the field or are unsure about their future in journalism.
It makes so many people become interested in journalism if they aren't already, and if they are interested in journalism, they have an opportunity to spend 4 days intensely exploring the field.
Hill works to ensure that people who are interested in journalism continue to strive to be better. I'm Monica Holmes, NCSMI News.
And we will have a chance to continue to strive to be better as students in the Carolina J School in a year or two.
We're all online, some of us all the time. West Johnston High's Brandon Wiggins was right here with students learning all about online storytelling.
NCSMI has been opening its doors to aspiring journalists for the past 75 years. However, it's only 5 years ago that organizers added online journalism to the program.
To keep up with the evolving world of electronic media, NCSMI has adopted this program, which has been beneficial to students who are interested in this rapidly growing area.
Instructor Chris Wagaman tries to help students understand that what they want and what the readers want might be very different.
The writers really get a lot out of seeing their work on paper. The designers get so much more out of seeing their work on paper.
Not all students are first-time online students here at NCSMI. T.C. Robertson's Madison Barlow is the executive editor of her school's online publication, and she has found the skills learned at NCSMI are very beneficial to take back to her staff.
We've learned about WordPress, pages, and widgets.
We've gone over the Rush Online and took some ideas from the Rush newspaper, and we're going to write stories on those.
23 students are enrolled in this class this year, and that's much larger than the past years. Dylan Bogus of Owen High School is new to the field of online journalism. Bogus says you have to give information to people. They want to get it.
People don't always have a paper with them, whereas people always have a smartphone, they'll always have a laptop or an iPad, whatever it may be.
So the platform doesn't matter as much as the information you provide.
I'm Brandon Wiggins with NCSMI News.
Twitter, Google+, working with information clouds, and who knows what else in the coming years. It's an exciting time to be a communicator.
Not everyone at camp writes in journalistic style. Tyler Harden of Weaver Academy in Greensboro introduces us to a group that gets to use a little more creativity and flair.
Students bring their creativity to life through poetry, design, and stories in the literary magazine class, developing valuable skills to create magazines and brochures expressing their individuality. First-timers are excited and eager to learn what the literary magazine class has to offer.
And I didn't know anything about Lit Mag, and I had no prior experience, so I thought this would be a cool new experience.
Many new students are quick to learn how to create a magazine using computer programs like Adobe InDesign and techniques to make their copy stand out.
Fonts and sizes and columns and how everything works, because I didn't really know much when I first came, so it was really cool.
Literary magazine students strive to complete their 16-page booklet in a race against time. The skills they acquire in this class will help them in a future career in media.
Patience and time management. We always work on deadlines in journalism, so it's definitely good exercise in trying to get a lot done in a short amount of time.
These hard workers know the tight deadline will pay off as they work toward a career in the publication industry. I'm Tyler Harden, NCSMI News.
Cellar Door and the Carolina Quarterly are literary magazines on the UNC campus. Both welcome submissions from all Carolina students.
The 4 dozen students who crammed into the TV newsroom are responsible for everything you've seen so far. Abby Presley of West Johnson High takes us behind the scenes with TV news.
TV students are embracing the theme of this year's NCSMI workshop, to race against time to finish interviews and capture good shots. 12 groups have been covering all of you. Alumnus and current media production teacher Dylan Field likes helping students learn the behind-the-scenes aspect of TV news.
I like pushing buttons. Being behind the camera, it lets me push buttons, and I really enjoy that, and I sincerely hate my voice on camera.
Returning TV news student and former anchor Madison Brown says the TV news class has influenced her future career choices.
I've always liked broadcasting. That's something that I could see myself doing in the future as a career.
Murphy Grant attended the workshop last year and tells us how it benefited and influenced her return this year.
I took TV news last year and had a lot of fun with it, but I was also able to take things I learned back to my school.
Professor of Television Production and Science Journalism at the University of Navarra in Spain, Bienve Leon says he teaches many of the same techniques, but there are some differences.
The pace is faster. The rhythm is faster here than in Spain or in Europe.
This year's TV news class has set the bar high, participating in the largest program yet and still beating the race against time. I'm Abby Presley, NCSMI News.
So that ends a week of hard work, and we bring NCSMI 2013 to a close.
We hope you enjoyed your time at NCSMI. Safe travels on your trip back home, and as always, go Heels! Good job.